Today's video, we're going to be breaking down Ekitike, the new Liverpool striker, going through his Ultimate Team card, breaking it down, letting you guys know if he's worth it or not. Now, bearing in mind the game has just come out, this is more for starter squad, stuff like that. He costs around 15 to 18,000 coins, around that area. And off the break, just to give an overall summary, he is actually a very, very good striker for around that. I would say for the budget. If you're looking for like a 100k team, somewhere around that mark, you know, starting Premier League squad, I would say he's actually really, really fun to use and he's actually worth it. So let's break down some of the pros, as you can see from the screen. Starting off with pro number 1, okay? He has 86 pacing game. I think his card actually played a little bit faster than that. And the reason why it's quite interesting and it's one of the biggest strengths is because he's quite physical as well. He's quite big. He's about 6 let me see how tall he is in game. He's 6'2". So he's 6'2", and normally when you have those players, they feel a little bit clunky, but he actually felt fairly agile, which I thought was really, really good, because most of the time those type of players, you don't really get that. So I actually think his agility, his pace actually felt really nice. Now maybe because I was playing in lower divisions at the time, but I just felt like against defenders he actually didn't feel too slow. You're seeing in the highlights as well, like he actually felt pretty good. I was getting through defenders and, you know, he felt good. So I think the pace was definitely a massive benefit that I didn't expect to see. 86 is good, but yeah, it felt really nice. Then the next one I wrote is height. Like I mentioned, when you look at this type of card coming at 6'2", I think height should be one of the biggest things you look for. That physicality, being able to hold up the ball, being able to shield for other strikers, but he really did have that, as well as good pace. And you're seeing it right there. He actually got barge off the ball and boom, back on it. So his physicality is really, really noticeable, and it's a really good trait he has. In terms of in-game, he actually has 69 strength, which is quite low, but maybe because he's 6'2", but it feels like he has a lot more than that. So that's why I like to do these reviews, because sometimes the stats in game don't necessarily reflect how good they are. And yeah, I think Ekitike has much better strength and pace than his card displays. He really does. Then the third pro I wrote is his price. Now the reason I wrote that is because if I'm looking at a team for like 100k, 150k, like, and I need like a solid piece of the puzzle, you know, Diani's excellent card. She's about 160k. There's other cards in Buemo, really good card. He's about 50k. So when you're looking at 20k, you know, you're looking at a lot of options. There's so many plays for 20k. Out of all of them, I've used Thuram, I've used Ekitike, I've used Barcola, I've used a lot of players similar price, and he was a really good one for me. He scored a lot of goals in very few games, so he kind of stood out for me, Ekitike. That's why I'm doing his player review first, because the rest were good, but he felt great. He felt like he was involved in a lot of goals. His positioning felt well. Like for a 20k budget, like I think he did a really good job, and you're seeing it in these clips again. Like he very much was involved in the action. He was clinical. He was a really solid option. Then we go to the cons. Now I wrote shooting. Now I have to be careful here, because when I'm talking about cons, I want to make this very clear. It's not necessarily things that he couldn't do well. It's when I'm comparing him to maybe players at a higher level. So his 78 shooting, it was not noticeable at meta shots, like for example that chip right, great shot there, but it was more on those kind of tight angles when the games were tight. Like sometimes his shooting wasn't as clinical as those high 80 shooters, you know what I'm saying? So again, it comes with the price as well. He's only 20,000 coins, so I don't expect it, but you want your striker to be a bit clinical, so I feel like you have to be a little bit more accurate in terms of your actual shooting. His shooting itself with 79 finishing isn't like amazing. You can make it work with meta shots. As you're seeing here again, the goals are going in. Like it's not like he can't score, but if you're looking at a main striker, you want a little bit more than 79 finishing. So I would recommend maybe a Hunter, boost that finishing as well. Even a shot power 82, it wasn't electrifying. You're seeing the goals here, but there was a lot of chances where I'm like, I could have got that goal in, you know? Maybe a 200k player would be this Ekitike with higher finishing. I could see that, you know, being the case. So the next con I wrote was play style. This is something that really stands out as well. He has the finesse shot, which is nice. He doesn't have any play style pluses. Again, only being 20k absolutely makes sense, right? I'm not expecting it, but when I'm comparing him to, let me just re-up the highlights right there. When I'm comparing Ekitike to maybe an Isaac or someone of like a higher price tag, right? When what you're paying extra for, that's kind of where the cons come in. So you're going to pay extra for more shooting. You're going to pay extra for someone with a little bit more of a play style, maybe like a plus, or even like a rapid or a quick step. Even for example, like having the shielded press proven with this type of play would be really nice. Stuff like that, just to utilize his strength and his physicality. So play style wise, he has technical, so it helps his dribbling a little bit, finesse shot, and chip shot. He doesn't have any pluses or low driven. So again, a few playstyles are a little bit missing, but again, expected for a 20k player. Then we have the roles. The reason I wrote the roles in is because as I was starting to play better players, his natural AI positioning, I used him as an advanced forward, and unfortunately he didn't have any roles there, so it felt a little bit different. When I use other players that have the roles, they just felt like their AI positioning was a little bit better. So those are the 3 cons I mentioned. He does have target forward and false 9 plus, but for my playstyle, that isn't really what I like to do. So, you know, don't feel like my opinion of him is the be all and end all, because I still think he was a really good player, but those 3 negatives were the only things I could think of in terms of like, if I had to improve this card, right? If there was something to get this card better, it will be those 3 things. But overall, for 16k, I think he's a great card. Actually, one more thing I forgot to mention, if we're being really picky, is probably weak foot. Saying that, he scored a lot on his left foot. And again, his finishing actually, even though the stats were a bit low, it felt like he was actually finishing well. So I think it was also the sample size of games I was playing in. Once I play into high divisions, that's probably when you get caught out a little bit. But I kind of use a sample size I had to, you know, analyze accordingly. And overall, I really like the card though. I really did like it. For a starter squad, I highly recommend him. From all the players I've used, if you had a 20k striker, he'll probably be at top of my list, to be honest with you. He felt really physical. His dribbling was nice. His shooting was still decent. Even though I put it as a con, it was still pretty good. His pace was electrifying. And for a big striker, I felt like he did the job. So let's have a quick look at the in-game stats here before we end the video, just so you guys can kind of see what's going on here. So we go through the base card. Like I said, about 16,000 coins around there. 6'2", 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot, controlled acceleration type. He has 86 pace coming in there. He has 85 acceleration, 87 sprint speed, which is really nice there. In terms of shooting, again, you want a little bit more for a striker, but you put him in an evolution, you know, you get this guy up to 80, 82 shooting, going to be a real problem for opponents. His penalties is quite low, which is why it's not too bad. Even though I mentioned his roles being, you know, okay, his 86 attack positioning does kind of combat that, and it helps him be in decent positions here and there. Going through again, long shots, not really worried about. Shot power 82 isn't bad, it's just not as good as I want it. You know, if we look for example, if I put him there, if I look at Diani, for example, right, 90 finishing there with 79 shot power compared to like 82 shot power, 79 finishing. So you just want a little bit more finishing. Saying that, like, Embremo feels really nice, even though he's got 84 shooting, right? His shooting isn't too high. He gets 87 shooting. His finishing feels really good. When you look at Ekitike at 79, that's kind of the difference. It's just that extra layer of shooting. His passing isn't amazing, but the biggest one we look at is short passing. So you're not looking at playing through balls in, because he's only got 57 passing, you know, 57 long passing, sorry. So short passing 82 is actually okay. I didn't feel like he was I didn't feel like it was a detriment. I feel like it was okay, to be honest with you. Dribbling, again, it was actually all right. I feel like his dribbling was fine, and his strength could have been a little bit higher, but there you go. That's going to be his overall review. Here's the play styles. I will give him a strong 8 out of 10. For 20,000 coins, I mean, I think he did a really good job. So if you guys are looking for a starter striker, maybe a French or a Premier League striker, he's got great links. I think he does a really good job. You could pair him with players like Barcola, Thuram. You could play him with Premier League players. You got a lot of options there. So I definitely think he's a really good player to have in your squad. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe. This is the team we're currently operating with right now on our After Glory. So if you guys like the player reviews, we're going to have an After Glory where we go through all this stuff, our main team, stuff like that. And then what we'll do is we'll take out individual players, give them a little review, give my thoughts, and go from there. So tomorrow's video, we're going to go through this 85 rated Cunha. Really fun card. Some of the stats of some squad battles, so don't look too much into it, but a really fun card. So tomorrow I'm going to do a review on him. And yeah, let me know who you want to see next time. But then we're going to work on probably Embuemo. We've done a Diani review, and then we'll go for Rafael Leao. So we'll go around. But let me know what you guys think, what type of player you want to see. Catch you guys for another video later on today. Peace.